Let's face it, women do not understand what sex means to men. We are taught from such a young age, and as we get older, we're still taught that you guys are hound dogs. That's all you want. It's just physical. You just don't care about us. You just want that from us. Even wives will shame their husbands online and say, ugh, he's not interested in me unless it's for that. Because they don't get it. They don't understand. And honestly, I didn't understand for a really long time either. I've learned a lot from you guys, what you've commented, and I've also learned a lot from our guest today. It is Alan Millard, once again, having him on our show, and he has taught me a lot about this whole dynamic. And it actually blew my mind. So he's going to talk about it today, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what women don't know and what I still don't know and maybe don't agree with. So we're going to get into the spicy stuff today. So buckle up, YouTube. Hit like on this video, by the way, because YouTube not going to like it, which means it's good. So let's get right into it. Welcome back to Far From Eden. Welcome back, Alan. Good to have you. Today we're talking about some of the spicy stuff. I already warned everybody in the intro. Hit like on the video because, send it out there. YouTube's going to be like clutching its pearls. Welcome back. And I just want to right off the jump say, what does sex mean to men? Because the way I was raised, you guys are just horn dogs. It's just physical and it's all you're looking for. So set the record straight. If there's any women watching, educate us the way you've educated me.
Right. Well, I mean, if you're deprived of need and sex is a need to men, then you're going to be manipulated by it if the so-called source chooses to use it that way. It's like using food to manipulate a person or an animal.
Right.
And it should never, women in the past actually never, they were taught not to ever do that. That was sacrilegious. You never use sex against a man or as to manipulate him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a principle, something that just wasn't something a good person ever did. And a man, I mean, on the other side of the coin, if a woman has needs, he would allow often, put those needs above his, if anything.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't even think. We need to reverse a lot of the things that are done by women to men and reverse it if men were to do those things to women and see exactly how bad it is. It's sad we have to do that.
Yeah.
But a man would never use any assets that he has in that way for a woman. I mean, there's exceptions, but
Sure.
that's like no way. That's below his standards, his dignity. I mean, as a person, and that just kind of shows how many crappy women are out there that they are doing it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I agree. And one of the things that you had said, and some of the men in the chat have said this, and I've read the comments, and it kind of was so different than everything I was raised to believe, not necessarily by my parents, but through propaganda and all that kind of stuff, is that men do express love physically like that. It's not just some like carnal this and then I toss it away. Like it actually means something.
men love through sex, yes,
Right.
and it's not just the act itself; it's what goes with it. It's that companionship, the expressions, the warmth of the body, and that connection that you have with that individual that you're attracted to. I mean, if you're not attracted to them, and by the way, the face is the most sexual part of a person. And that's
That
what
is interesting.
it
Okay.
is. It is.
I had never heard this before. Keep
Yes.
talking. Like, tell me
Yes.
more about this.
And a man looks, he connects with the face, but then the body, of course, is a part of that. But he sees that as the whole person. And that fits into that scenario, is that that face of that person and the personality that goes with it is one. And the experience that you have of that person is all connected to one. Women don't understand it. In fact, a lot of men don't understand it. They'll condemn themselves for being a certain way, which they're not. But if they were to dip down and deep and
Mhm.
really understand, I mean, they're human, for crying out loud, and
Yeah.
they're assigned and assigning to themselves something less than human, and that's a stigma that we have to get rid of. And of course, feminism is played on that, um, and that goes back. I mean, even before feminism, but again, it's gotten a lot worse, and it's used by feminism even to the point of making things illegal that were never illegal in the past.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Um,
I remember when we were reading on this channel, the Manipulated Man, and Esther Vilar would talk about the carrot and the stick. And the carrot was manipulating him using sex, like a reward system. And I obviously I'm aware that women do that, but it was, I don't know why it would be shocking to me that she would be bringing that up even back then,
mhm.
but it seems like it has fallen on deaf ears or been buried.
Oh yeah,
Um,
she was kept from being heard for
yes.
sure.
Do you think men sort of, like you said, judge themselves because they've also bought into the propaganda that there's something wrong with them for having that need, or
Yes.
that they're somehow sick then, that they're somehow like that, when in reality it's just a normal human need? And it is, as one of the men in my I think in comments, he said, Aaron, we want the closeness, we want that closeness. And I don't even know, I don't know if men even know that about themselves. Do you think they do, or are they
A
filled
lot of
with
men don't.
all this?
A lot of men, especially if they have religion and the traditional conservative influence,
Mhm.
and if they have the feminist liberal influence too,
Yeah.
they work together
Yeah.
uh, against themselves in this self prejudice. Like, oh well, I'm just a scumbag, and and these other guys, they're scumbags, and it's the way I was born to be this way, and it's like, well, if he, this is a perfect play out of this prejudice, this self prejudice, is when a man has a daughter, then he hates his daughter's suitors, or daughter's boyfriends. Oh, all they want is sex, just like I did when I was his age. But that's a self perpetuation of this in our society, our culture. And that's crap. We don't want that at all. In fact, that's part of holding men accountable and not women. And here women are soliciting sex and initiating the very sex act that
Yeah,
these fathers are blaming themselves and their boys in.
it's a
If
good
men
point.
have, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, like
Need
she's innocent, right?
sex.
She's the gatekeeper, right?
Yeah, and
She's the
part of that
gatekeeper of all of
gatekeeping,
that. So how are you going to blame him?
yeah, and
It's interesting.
being a gatekeeper, there's so many keys to that gate
Yeah.
that women have. It's like, oh yeah, well he's accountable, and that makes me free to be a self entitled and
Yeah.
and to allow me to be a victim even of that arrangement, of that status, and allows me to make false allegations. I mean, talk about unquestioned power, even the power of victimhood. It's crazy. And our
Yeah.
society buys into this sale.
The
So
power of victimhood. that's a book title right there for you. I mean, because it literally, it seems like that's from where women, feminists, gain our power, is this idea that we're victims, when in reality we're not. But that is what we appeal to in order to get more, or
Yes.
demand more, or be entitled, because you owe me.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't owe us. You don't owe us anything. Okay, so this is a weird landscape, these modern times, for relations between men and women, and the level of, for lack of a better term, promiscuity. It was, I don't know that it was like this in history, but it puts it makes everything strange, because the average man is overlooked for the most part. It's this, women are tending to go for, these higher status men, or what have you, or overlook a blue collar worker, or this, that, or the other. And they're sort of like ignored, invisible. And this is what men in my comments and in my chat have said. And a lot of them have said, I give up because of it. But these men are dealing with something called touch starvation. And so you and I have talked about what should be done about this. And, well, just to put it out there, the ladies of the night, they're out there. And is that a good option for these men? Is that something that should be made more available to them? Is it a good thing for society?
It is now. It is now. These women who are, I don't know, that term is okay, but ladies of the night. But
Yeah, ladies in the night. Yeah, oldest profession. Yeah,
yes, yes.
it's fine.
Well,
We're talking about all this other stuff anyway. YouTube is still gonna. You can say prostitute. It's fine.
good. Okay. We have worse than prostitutes in the average woman. She not only is soliciting sex, she's using sex to manipulate men. She's using her sex to criminalize men. And look at all the liabilities and the laws built upon any type of interrelations with women that men face.
It's true.
False allegations. He sexual harassed me. I mean, that's the part of the dating process. That's part of the sexual intimate process that's supposed to take place. That took place in the past. It takes place with animals, and we're placing that on men as a problem. Well, prostitution now ranks above the average woman. She does, because you've got a clean transaction of like service for a price. And the only thing is, I think we need to vet the women that go into that profession so they are better than the average woman and they don't abuse men. It's very, and I don't know if you study the history of prostitution.
Nope. You know far more about all of this. I'm learning with everybody else who's watching. So, yeah.
Good. Well,
I want to learn.
As you know, I'm a straight shooter. I say the truth, regardless of who it offends.
That's why I talk to you. I don't want anybody to just, beat around the bush. Let's have it.
Too many people do that, even within the men's movement.
I agree.
Well, they back years ago, when prostitution was legal in many towns, men would be so they would actually form relationships with prostitutes, and they loved these gals, even though they had other clients. Well, there's stories where these women would actually, when they made a lot of money, and they would take these guys out, these hardworking miners and all. Some of them didn't have nearly as much as they did. And it
Mhm.
ended up in a lot of cases that they found in these prostitutes a better relationship and more understanding than they did in their girlfriends or even in some cases wives. And what would happen is these prostitutes would make their fortune, and these guys would take off with them. A lot of them went like to California, and it's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can learn about human dynamics by reading these sources.
It's
And
fascinating.
go ahead.
I know it's fascinating. You could tell you're like, we've talked so much. You're like, she's thinking something. I'm
Yeah,
just
I
thinking
can.
of a movie. I don't know. There is a movie called Lonesome Dove, and it's
Mhm.
like a mini series. Have you seen it?
Yeah, yeah, I
Gus
know.
is he's like in love with Lori Darlin, and he's a client of hers, and Jake is also a client, and they both know that they're both clients. Anyway, Jake is going to take her to San Francisco, like he's promised her he's going to. Anyway, I was thinking that I'm like, that's where that came from, is what you're talking about. Like sometimes there would be like this relationship, and then be like, okay,
Yes,
I'm gonna take you from this saloon that you work atop of, and we're gonna go here. That's
San
interesting.
Francisco was a big area they'd go to.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, there you
yeah,
go.
yeah. But
That's interesting.
yeah,
I see. I only know it from a movie, but yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I can see that. How? Yeah, and you
well,
think it is a service. Now, full disclosure for the men in the comments and in the chat, they're going to be like, "But Aaron, I know I don't agree with sex outside of marriage. I don't. But also, I live in reality, and I don't want men to be touch starved. So these are things we have to talk about. These
right,
are things we have to address. Um, right, wrong, here or there. It's something we have to talk about. And we are in a place right now in modernity that's like no other time in history. And
that's
I would
right.
rather see a man visiting a prostitute than in the ground 6 feet under because he is just abandoned and touch starved and completely uh, just at his lowest. So that's why
Yeah,
we're having this conversation. I just want to let some of the guys know that, like, no, I haven't abandoned all my morals or whatever. So
but
anyway,
that's an interesting thing you'd mentioned morals. What's more moral if you think about it? If
exactly.
you if you have women out there satisfying men's needs, and they really do love men, a lot of these women, they have said that we're in this profession because we really like men. We love men, and we love sex. And
I get so skeptical. I do. I get skeptical, and I could be very wrong. I could be very wrong. Uh, because uh, we
I
like
know,
male attention. We do like male attention. And is it that we love you guys, or are we loving all the attention you're giving us? Or does it matter?
well, most of the women now, I think, want the attention. They don't love men.
Yeah.
No, there's a big difference. Women of the past and who have been in uh, the profession,
Mm-hmm.
I think, do love men, but there's some that get in the profession for the wrong reasons. Just like sometimes police officers get into the profession for the authority it gives them
Yeah.
and all.
Yeah.
But uh, most of the women, they do love men, and they have returning customers, repeat customers as a result. And many of these men are they become attached to them, and that's why they have returning customers. In fact, you'll see the same thing on OnlyFans to some
Mm-hmm.
extent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they can't have that physical touch, but they get the expression and that sensation of their bodies and the expressions of not only their bodies but their personalities. They get attached to their personalities,
The
and it sounds,
relationship.
yeah, it is a type of relationship, and
Yeah.
it's sad. It's sad
It
as
is
heck,
very sad. It's
but it's
sad.
there.
And it also says so much about men. I think a lot of times women will look at it and say, oh my God, he's so disgusting. He looks at OnlyFans and la la la. And I'm like, can we look at it a different way for just 1 second?
God.
Let's look at it as, let's realize he could just look at just regular porn. He could. Why is he choosing OnlyFans? Because he is looking for that relationship. What are we always saying about men? We are saying, oh, they don't care about relationship. They just want sex. They don't want. Well, if that's
Yes.
true, then OnlyFans wouldn't have become as popular as it is.
No.
Men,
No.
at the end of the day, as what you're saying with the history of it, the history of prostitution, also the current situation with it, with OnlyFans, it reveals something about the character of a man. And that is that a relationship with a woman is important to him.
Of
And
course.
that is something that women
Healthy.
do not realize or know or any of that. You know what I
It's
mean? They
all
just want
skewed.
to say you're depraved and you're disgusting and this and that. And as much as I disagree with pornography and disagree with promiscuity and disagree with all that, that is an idealized way to look at the world. And I understand. And like I said, I would rather have the man going to, the whorehouse than in the ground. I don't want to see men suffering or in pain. I
If you
really don't.
boil it down, if you boil it down to the nitty gritty, that's exactly what we're dealing with in today's
Yes.
society.
Yes. And I'm also the person that'll say, if you're married to a man, guess what? You never say no and you initiate. That is what I believe. And I believe that is what a marriage is. And
Sure.
I don't think that women nowadays look at it that way at all. I think they think that he's lucky because he gets it once a week. I'm like,
Yeah, like they
what
dish
are
it
you
out.
saying?
I'm
Like,
sorry.
it's okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. What did you say?
They're dishing it out. Like
Right.
it isn't that sick in itself?
Yes. It's like a starving person over there, and you're like, here's a piece of bread. You're lucky I feed you.
Yep.
And just that, like, not only is he, barely getting any, he's also has to feel like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And how that is
Degrading.
not a marriage, that is
Degrading.
not a relationship, that's nothing like that. And you
Sex.
have to initiate
God.
too. You have to show him that he's attractive, that he's desired, that he's appreciated as a human being, as your husband, as your mate, what have you. When you initiate, you tell me if I always say this stuff. You guys, when I'm talking to Alan, I always say this stuff and I go, okay, I'm gonna say this, and then you tell me where I'm wrong. So if she's initiating, right, she's coming up to him, she's kissing him, she's snuggling him a little bit, that shows him, right, that he's appreciated, right?
Oh, it gives him a feeling. He feels it. It sends him off like in a up here, like he's walking on air. I mean, geez,
Aww.
he just loves it, and it gives him life and health. It's not hard to understand. It's so fulfilling and healthy for a man, and he uh, he realizes that he has the same value that he gives to her, and
Oh,
it's sex is shared, or it should be. It's
yeah.
not something you take out. It's like taking the heart out of a person and saying, well, here's the person. It's a whole, and it's part of that. What they're doing is taking part of that out and dissecting it and dishing it out. Here, this is what you want. Well, that's not what he wants. Of course, he has that physical and maybe a little bit of the mental that goes with it, but it's not. It's just like he keeps feeling there's more deprived, and it lowers himself in his own estimation as a supposed partner in that relationship.
Yeah. Women do not get it. They do not get it. They don't understand how they are destroying men and destroying the very man they claim to love.
They
I
don't
just,
know anything about love.
they don't know anything
Modern women
about
don't.
love. No, they don't. These women don't. And they don't know anything about men. That's a
Yeah.
huge part of this. What I have realized, not just about the sex part that we're talking about, but all of these, problem with men and women today is that we really don't even know you guys. We don't. We decide who we think you are, and then that's that. And we never find out. We never
Oh,
get to know you.
like you were
And
saying earlier, you got this like thing going on that's automatically attaches these preconceptions or prejudices.
yes, we start off with, oh, you're coming from a bad place. They're coming from, you just have bad intentions to begin with. And so that definitely, if not probably more than anything, that's true for the idea of sex between us. I think that is where we're most programmed. Women are most programmed to think that you're predatory, that you are just about the shallowness of it all. Like, we're the ones that understand what it's really about, and you guys are just in it for the woohoo moment. And it's actually might be a little bit of the other way around, especially nowadays.
Yes.
Because what I have learned too late in life, learning from you guys, and I feel bad because it just sold you short. And that is like how meaningful it is to you, how like on a spiritual level, pretty much. Like I just never knew. And that's my own fault. It's women's own fault. Because did we ever ask? Or did we just assume things? Yes, we just assume things. And assume things because we assumed, well, we thought less of you.
Well, that's part of the thing about women in the past being placed on a pedestal above men is they already knew. They already know they're the morally superior sex. That feeds right into what you're saying. Oh,
Right.
if a man says something, oh, you're just saying that. You're just saying that to get me to think this or something.
Yes. You're just trying to get in my pants. You're just trying to da 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 da. You don't mean that. You're just trying to manipulate me. Oh, you're bringing me back to like me being a teenager and the types of things. I don't even know where it all came from. I'm going to have to think about that later. But yeah, the type of idea that if a man's sweet to you, whispering sweet nothings in your ear, that he doesn't really mean it, it's to try to get something from you. That was totally programmed into me by the time I was about 15.
You know, and the thing is, men are so accepting that if they were to get some of these things from a woman, they like it. I mean, in a sincere way. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
men were bad in saying anything like that, but if a woman showed a man enough attention and interest to say anything, to want to be with him or want to be intimate with him,
Yeah.
he's going to appreciate that. Wow, I must be worth something for her to make this effort.
Yeah, you guys didn't think, oh, she wants something from me. You didn't. If we show interest in you, now you do, because now you're on to it. Now more men have figured out that we can be so manipulative. But women were sort of trained and propagandized to think, as I was, if he's being nice to you, it's only because he wants something. When in reality, more often than not, it was not true at all. However,
Right.
when we were nice to you guys, it might have been to get something. And it
Yeah,
very much is nowadays. Isn't that funny?
sure
And
is.
only now men are starting to wake up to the fact that, hey, wait a second. She just wants money. She just wants this. She just wants status.
Yeah, the women are actually
Yeah.
they're the ones that are the very thing that they don't want men to
Yeah.
be.
We were
And,
accusing you of that which we were doing. And I've
yeah,
said that. I can't tell you how many times I've said that when I'm covering like different chicks on TikTok or different. I'm like, they accuse the men of doing what they're doing. And this is
yeah,
another example of that. Yeah.
exactly. And sex is shared.
Yeah.
Money isn't. And I think I've said that to you before.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that shows you right there the lack of sincerity that women have versus men's. Because again, sex is something that two people share,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
money is something that's taken from someone.
Right. Right. And it's diabolical that women use the one thing, the sex, to manipulate to get the other.
But that's love, right?
Right. Yeah.
They're the authority on love.
Love. Don't ask those questions, Alan. Be a good man. Just man
Yeah,
up.
yeah. No
God.
condemned for
It
sure.
is. It is. Yeah, I just I feel for these men out there, and I know they're touch starved. They've reached out to me. Many have said, don't share, don't share my story and don't say who it is. And I know, and some
Yeah.
of them have gotten these like uh, body pillow type things that are, like, I don't want to say a sex doll, but like, it's like it's like that. It is that, whatever.
The industry's picking up.
Yeah.
It's kind of sick, but I'm glad you brought up the thing with sex
Yeah.
dolls, because you know how we're a very monetary, uh, commercial driven society.
Hmm.
Well, they're picking up on that, and they're making sex dolls better and better and better, more realistic because
Sure
of the
are.
market. The market's out there, and
Yep.
that shows you right there where we're
Yes.
failing as a society, and how men need something. And that I don't know if that's something that replaces prostitution. Well, I mean, since we don't have it legalized,
Right.
then it is. But what would what wouldn't surprise me, and this is also been talked about in the men's equality sphere, is like, well, if prostitution's made legal for all men, then these guys that are making these sex dolls are going to be put out of business. So
Yeah.
that's another goofy dynamic that could be taking place.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
yes, maybe, maybe not. And here's the thing. What these men told me, the few men that have reached out and shared this to basically to teach me, honestly, to share with me, you know, and because they don't have anybody else they could talk to, which is really sad, but I get
Yeah,
it.
you're right. Yeah.
So they've said, look, it's not just for the like release of it. Sometimes it's just to lay next to something.
Mhm.
And there are ones that will make small like noises like the person is sleeping. So because they want to lay next to a woman. And so to hear like a sleeping sound or like a sigh, I know it's heartbreaking. It's like I just want to.
That is that is such a heavenly feeling. And I mean, if you have any, urges, they got to be gotten out of the way first to
Sure.
have that release. But
Yeah.
that other part that's connected right with it is so important. And that feeling is something that's added to it. It's so important. And that bonding that will come from that is where love comes from.
Right.
And uh, God, it just gets me that women don't understand that. A lot of men don't even understand that. And
I had no idea. I had no idea. I literally no idea till like since, I don't know, however many months ago it was, months, not years, where this particular man emailed me this. And then he said, Aaron, look up da 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 on YouTube. It is sounds of, it's literally Like it plays for hours and hours, like 12 hours straight. You can play it. And it's, again, the sounds of like if a woman was sleeping next to you.
Mm.
And I made the mistake. I talked about it once on my channel, and I made the mistake of giving examples. And they're like, Aaron, don't make those sounds. So I'm not going to make the sounds. I didn't. I wasn't thinking, but you know what I mean? Like sleeping sounds that a woman might make. I'm not going to
That's funny.
try
They're
and
getting that from OnlyFans, right? But not,
like, I'm
you
not
don't
trying
want
to do that. I'm so sorry. But yeah, and so I looked it up and I was like, and what's interesting is there's ones the other way around. So there are ones for girls too. But it's so like, it's just different. I'm sorry. And maybe it's that I just am biased and have been in this echo chamber. But the women are making the sounds like they're just sleeping next to you, and they might wake up and say, I'm not going to say, but just say like, hey, baby, did you wake up? You know, in a sleepy voice. But the ones for the women are more the man very much protecting her. Like, I don't know. It's more service. I got the feeling it's more service oriented, not just she's there and I love that she's there. It's like he's there and he's taking care of me. He's there and
wow.
do you know what I mean? Like it was a little, I felt it.
Sometimes I can see some women being like that, but you know, when a man and woman come together, they're totally equals. They're both vulnerable to each other at that point.
Yeah. Yes.
And a man, I mean, they're protecting each other. That's kind of what I want to say. I don't like this one way servitude or either way. That's not right. A man feels just as comforting in a woman's arms and as protected as she does with him, because he's vulnerable. He's very vulnerable to her.
Yeah. Is that what we were talking about earlier when we weren't recording, when I was saying she's kind of his vault? And so she's protecting all of that, and he knows it. Because she can't, like, she's not going to fight the bear.
Yeah, it's like there aren't any bears. There's
okay, there's no bears in this situation.
No. I mean, like you said too, that one scenario where you said I think it was your mom your dad found the rattlesnake and your mom shot it, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So in that way, yeah.
That's a good example.
My dad lifted up the thing. There was a baby rattlesnake, which they're the most dangerous because they don't warn you. They don't have any rattles.
And they don't know how to control their venom, by the way.
Can't. That's right. Yeah. So I don't know how he didn't get, but yeah, he threw the thing and my mom took care of it. Yeah. So I see what you mean. Gotcha. I thought you meant like in the,
You want to protect those you love and that you like, your friends.
Yeah.
And that's where that has to come in. And women, especially now with their abilities, their power, need to be there to protect men.
Yes.
And that's why it's so important that you're receptive and very perceptive to men, and yet you can be a voice for men and convey this to other women as well.
Yes. Yeah, because we have to use our voices and protect the men from the very system that we have used against them for all this time. I feel like we're the ones that need to do it. We're the ones. I mean, I see one way that it can happen is that if a man gets divorced and she, that woman just, divorce rapes him and all the rest of it, right? And then he happens to meet another woman and he decides to, be with her, and she sees how the last one did him wrong. And she goes, oh, no, 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 no. You think you're going to steal his kids from him? I'm on his team now, lady.
Yeah,
I've seen that, and I've
you
seen
got the
that.
power of two females working
That's
against
right.
together.
Like, okay, you think you're going to take it? I'll be in court. I'll be in court. So now the judge can deal with two women. So if he was like, I'm going to side with the woman, well, guess what? There's a woman on his
There is
side.
a counterbalance, isn't there? Yes.
And that's kind of
Yeah.
gets me fired up because I'm like, let's go, ladies. Let's defend our men.
We need
Let's
that
be
whole
there.
effect throughout society.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think it helps men stand up for themselves too. When they see, oh, the women are saying it, the women are also saying this.
So they feel safe.
So they feel safer to stick
Mhm.
their necks out now and go,
Yeah.
yeah, that happened to me. And I hope that it just keeps, and then the men speak out of it, and then more women, and then more men, and then more. And I feel like that's how it can actually grow the awareness, because I think it starts with awareness.
Sure. Yeah.
There's so much stuff
Education,
that I
awareness.
had to
That's
learn.
what I've been
Yeah.
about.
I had so much that I had to learn, and I'm still learning. And
You know what I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, you have to, I'm telling the women, the reason you don't know is because you never asked a man. Ask them. They'll tell you.
Right. What you were saying earlier too about women not having sex with even their husbands.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should count as being grounds for being infidel, because
Mm-hmm.
if they are going to do that, then a man should have the right to go somewhere else to get sex and get loving or sex, or
I think
and
it used to be a way to say, hey, this woman is not doing her duty. I'm
it
turning her
was.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, in divorce. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like that was grounds for divorce. But why should he go without and under the precept of marriage vows when she's not fulfilling hers?
He shouldn't.
You know?
He shouldn't. He should not. That is an absolute, you have vowed. That is your vow. And you are not fulfilling that. You have broken the contract.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've just broken it. And yeah, I hate it. I hate it so much. And that is something that we are not, as women, taking accountability for.
Yeah, and
It's our job.
like you said before, a business contract, as I've said myself, has more merit than a marital contract.
It does. It does. Yeah, the marital those, it's a farce. I mean, it's just, they took a religious sacrament and turned it into this thing that is, it seems like now it's by design to destroy men.
Oh, it's a
It makes
perfect
$1
design
billion
when
a year. Yeah.
yeah.
At the expense of men. And
Mhm.
and all the while, like, she divorces him, and it's like she wasn't even putting out when they were married anyway. And now
Yeah.
she's gonna do this. It's just, it's awful. And another reason why I cover this, there may be men who are out there that are like, I know it happened to me. But the reason I say it is because there are men out there that it has happened to, but they think they're the only ones. They think, oh, I chose wrong. Oh, I did something in my marriage. That's why she didn't want me. I didn't do this enough. What have you?
Yeah.
That's not what it is. It's not. There are so many men that have come to this channel and said, I had no idea. I didn't know there were other men like me. And there are a
Exactly.
lot of men too that may not know how to actually verbalize the things that you're saying because they've never been allowed to even think that way. They
Yes,
just, like
and
you
the thing
said,
is,
thought themselves as scumbags or something because they had desires.
yeah, they're sculpted as men to be this way.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, since they're a man, they're held accountable,
Yeah.
then they think, "Oh, it's me. I did something wrong." And
Yeah.
women play on that.
They do. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it absolves us of anything. We
Yes.
get to be completely innocent. It's not our fault, whatever. And too
Yeah.
many men just internalize that and go on believing that if only they'd done this or only they'd done that or been a better man or whatever.
Yeah.
And I watched my father say to me, and I didn't tell you this part earlier when I was telling you this whole story, but he said, it made me feel like I wasn't even a man. I can see him standing in the kitchen talking about this after my mom had cheated on him. He said, it made me feel like so much less of a man. I just didn't feel like I was a good enough man. He kept saying things like that, and being young and not knowing all the stuff I know now.
Yeah.
But
you're not even human. You're not even a human being at that point.
Yeah. It was, and so looking at it, like in my mind's eye, the memory of it through the lens I have now, I just look at it, and the men that are listening or in the chat or whatever, I see that look on my dad's face. And that is a terrible place to be. But what I want them to know, I can't fix it, but I want them to know that it's not their fault. They're not less of a man. That woman is less of a woman. Society is crappy to make you feel this way. It's not your fault. I just really desperately want them to know that. That they deserve better. They deserve more than what this society is giving them and what women are giving them.
Yeah, I have problems with this. A lot of these guys are blaming men. They say, oh, well, we got weak men. No, we don't. We got real men. We got good men. We don't need to blame men anymore. And that's playing off of this accountability crap.
Yes. Yes.
And,
I agree.
You know, we touched on something earlier about boys being raised in certain female-dominated families, or where the father isn't. He's been ruled out of the child's lives, and a boy or a girl, and that doesn't matter. It's the quality, the character of the person raising them, regardless if it's a man, a father, or a woman, mother. It's their character. And where we've gone wrong in society, not only have we placed more children in the care of women, of mothers, those mothers are inundated with prejudice from feminists and even some of the chivalrous thinking people. And this is combined to make men even worse in the lights in others, their image. And but yet we have these tradcons saying stuff like, oh, well, these men are weak because they've been raised by women and all this crap. Well, that's garbage, because these women have been bad women. They have been influenced by feminism. You go back in the day to good women who were their husbands were killed in war or in an occupation. They raised good boys. They raised good men and girls. They raised both. And we got to get out of that mindset that it's, oh, well, they've been exposed to just women or just, I mean, I think we shouldn't categorize like children being raised with either parent based on sex. It should be the character of that parent, of that mother or father, that counts. And that's what we have to deal with. Of course, children need both parents, but just because of the sex of one isn't the reason we have what supposedly weak man, or that's absolute bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't stand that whole weak man thing. That's just another way for it not to be a woman's fault. That's what I find usually. It's like usually if they're blaming something on men or accusing men of something, it's usually because we need to absolve women of something. So we got to find some way to blame a man or accuse him or what have you, because otherwise we might look at her, and we can't do that. And I think I think the court thinks, well, the state, I think they've tried to make us believe, because I don't think they really believe it, that, well, we do give the children to the person of the most character. And clearly, that's the woman. You know what I mean? And you're like,
Yep. The moral
no,
superiority of the
the
female.
moral
Yeah.
superiority again. Exactly. Like, well, clearly it's the woman. How could it possibly be the man? We know men are dogs. We know men are like, shut up.
Yep.
Like, no,
Yep.
it is not. That is the man bad.
Yes.
Always.
A big thing that's been taken away through that very premise is women's solicitation of sex, where they used to be held more accountable for their part in the sexual
Oh
process.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And that has got to be reversed. That has got to come back, because then again, women. Uh, it's ironic. It's a complete contradiction that women pride themselves in having that power, but yet aren't accountable for it.
Nope.
So that's a contradiction, big time contradiction in itself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because it's once you learn this stuff, you go, how did I never see this before? But it's just like any of the things, you know what I mean? You don't realize how indoctrinated you were or how many lies there were. It's just like believing any of the things you're taught in school, and then you grow up and you're like, actually, that's not the way. But that's what waking up to all of this is, like being red pilled as a woman, red pilled as in the truth. But then you go, how did I not know this before?
Exactly. I talked to other, yes. Oh, it's cool you'd say that, because I get that all the time.
Yeah.
And I just like, you got to break it down to the truth.
Right.
And you get down to that foundation and build upon it, and then it's like, wow. Once they see the light, it's like they can't. Everything they see is, like you say, through a different lens.
Right. Yes. You'll watch an old movie. You'll listen to an old song and you're like, oh my God, I can't even hardly watch a movie or a television show or anything. I never do anymore because all I see is the propaganda. All I see is like, they're just making men look bad. They're just making
Yeah.
like I see it everywhere.
Good for you.
And it's like, I see the Matrix. But yeah, it is. And all you want to do is help other people see it too. But as I say, not everybody can be woken up.
I know
And
some of them put a lot of
too far
resistance.
gone.
They
Yeah.
attack you personally, and
Right.
they think you're the enemy. And
Right.
they can't. They don't. A lot of them even know the truth, but they don't want to hear it.
They don't want to hear it. It's just like that movie, The Matrix, where what is his name?
Red pill,
Cyrus or whatever. He wants to go back into the Matrix.
Yes.
He wants to go back in. He doesn't want to live where it's real, where it's true. He wants to go plug me back in, he says. And
So
the
can
other
you
part that I
read?
like about it is everybody's an agent. Like, you just don't know who's going to be like, oh, you're hateful and you're this, you're that. It's more dangerous for the men, obviously, than me. I can go around and say whatever I want to, which is, again, why the women need to. But you just never know who's going to take it the wrong way, or who's going to, totally be so far away from being able to be woken up that the littlest thing just set them off. And for men, I mean, you can lose your job. There are real consequences for men in real life for saying any of this stuff.
I went to, this is interesting, my own experience. I went to a dentist, and this, I mean, the people there, I don't want to expose anybody or anything, but it's like we have to walk on eggshells, and we have to hire a quota, and we can't even say anything, or it's going to be held against us in some form or another, even if it's the truth. And we're dealing like with certain objective business practices.
Right.
And that is the concern. And that really destroys how the mechanics in our society even works.
Yeah. Yeah, men are silenced. They know they can't, they're not allowed to. They have to be real careful where they say things, whatever. And that's why I've said again, like, this is why the women have to, because we're not going to face consequences. Not really.
Yeah.
Maybe socially, somebody might be like, oh, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And I've had that happen. And I've let it happen again. That's fine. But for men, you can lose your job. You can have so many things, bad things happen to you. And that's another reason why women need to do it, because we're not going to have consequences for saying things. So, yeah. On that note, we better wrap up the show. Thank you so much for coming on here and talking about all this really important thing that I don't hear many other people talking about like this.
Come to men's equality and you'll.
Yes, thank you. Yes, oh my goodness. Men's Equality on Facebook, right? Men's Equality.
Yes.
And I'm getting a hat, you guys. Anyway, you should go on Men's Equality and get a hat too. I will put the link in the description. I really will this time, I promise.
Okay, and you're going to be an admin, right?
Yes, and I'm going to be an admin. See, I told him, you have to remind me. I get so into our conversation and you teach me so much. My brain is full. So yes, I'm excited because I'm going to get to be an admin on Men's Equality. So I'm still going to be learning. I'm just selfishly there to learn. So anyway,
You're
of
welcome.
course, I will definitely have you back on again to talk about, gosh, there's so much to talk about. So thank you once again for coming on. And I will see you next time. And thanks you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you think in the comments. Hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and go over to Men's Equality on Facebook and like that page and follow that page too. All right. Thank you guys. See you guys next time. Bye.